Welcome, everyone. I'm your influencer host, Sherry Lord, with weekly guest every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Just a note, you can advertise with us. These are paid ads. So go to www.sherrylord.com. And we have a very special guest and I'm very excited to have her back. And she's been on our show many times. She's very popular. And this is Dr. Joy Pedersen. Hi. Hi, Joy. We're so happy to have you back on our show. We just love you. And
Thank
you
you for
have
having me.
a lot of things that, you're going to share with us. I'm just going to do a very brief thing. I want you to really more elaborate about you because
Mhm.
you can explain it a lot better. And Joy is a doctor of divinity, intuitive licensed spiritual healer, and certified spiritual health coach. And she's an ordained minister, certified law of attraction practitioner, and multiple international best-selling author and founder of Express Success LLC, serving on international clientele. So we're so happy to have you. And you have a really interesting topic. You don't have to fear the darkness. And a lot of people need to understand that. It is fearful if you don't understand it, that you have the power. And you had a lot of experiences, and our audience loves stories. So we just love to hear what you'd like to share with our audience and our people who are watching. We ask everybody to please chat with us because she's going to be doing a giveaway. It's a group healing, so someone's going to be winning that today. So make sure you chat. We got Beth Perry. Good morning, ladies. Thank you. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you. So I might as well start at the beginning, which is what really changed my life, and that was when Archangel Michael appeared before me, asking me to join him in a healing practice, and then also to write his book, Wisdom of the Guardian. And I had no idea the drama that would ensue after that. But basically, Michael's calling for this lifetime was to clear the darkness, and he did that largely through me. And I joined him in a regular healing practice and worked with individuals healing the cause of their specific challenges. But I also found that many of my clients were the who's who in the Bible and many historical figures who reincarnated at this time. And through them, I was able to clear a lot of biblical stories, historical issues, and things that most people would be familiar with in one way or another. But I was clearing the imbalances, the way in which darkness may have influenced the negative outcome of some of these situations. And then also part of that whole dynamic was to move Lucifer back to the light. So to give a broad overview, and I can certainly tell you lots of stories, but I want to just recap so people understand the dynamics behind the situation where Lucifer, Satan, the Prince of Darkness, the Commander-in-Chief of Darkness, the big players in the universe who were sabotaging the planet and humanity have all been moved to the light. And it's like the major leadership has moved to the light. You have a major cleanup now of, say, for example, if you had a city bombed, then you have a lot of cleanup after that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole universe and the darkness that ensued on this planet, like, wreaked havoc here. Now it's all coming to the surface. Now it's all coming to be cleaned up. Yeah. So we don't have to fear the darkness in the same way that we did before, when most of it was hidden. It's now coming to light, but they're pointing fingers still, say, at Satan, you hear often. And there may have been a culprit in the background, but no longer is the operating system that's no longer the leadership. The whole world has been returned to the light of God, and the darkness is no longer running the planet. which is great news. But for the average person, they're looking at what's going on in the world, and I think it's worse than ever.
Yeah.
It's better than ever, but they don't realize it's the transition that we're going through, that we need to just clean up the effects of the darkness.
Yeah.
So where we are now is, if you can imagine a world that was filled with demons, it's no longer a world filled with demons, but people that are awakening may come across them, but what they need to understand, it's those that have been attached to them that need to be released.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be afraid of them. It's just a matter of letting them go and sending them back to the light. People like myself who can easily clear them, you can call on us for help, but people need to realize they don't want to shut down their third eye because they're noticing them. They want to own it, that they're attached to them, and they want to make sure that they do what is necessary to release them.
Yeah. Wow. This is really good clarity. People really do need to understand this to get past the fear of it, and know that they're, an option of how to clear that, or how to release that. I think that's just really important.
People have sovereignty over their own being, and if they know that they're connected to source and all they need to do is send that darkness to source. And of course, anybody can always call on Archangel Michael, who always is available for anyone's help in releasing any of the darkness. But if people understand that everyone has had darkness within them, and it's all about cleaning it all up now, facing it within, because we come out of darkened times. And during those past lives, we have been persecuted. We have been part of war. We have all sorts of dark magic. Even white magic can be manipulated by the darkness. There's all sorts of things from the past that needs to be rebalanced now, so we can step more easily into heaven on earth and build the new golden age, which are here.
Mm-hmm.
And available to all those who can raise their consciousness high enough to experience them. So it's not so much waiting for the world to change as much as we have to change our own consciousness, so the world will change and it will reflect our consciousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is really good. People really need to hear this message and understanding. I think the understanding behind it is huge, because a lot of people, if they're aware of their gifts or not, are going through levels of this already. And there's people who are aware, and it can be very frightening depending on what they're seeing, and to know that there's nothing to fear is very important.
Right, exactly. And when I do work with people privately, sometimes I'm seeing that what happened to them in a childhood experience that was traumatic, there was a demon involved, or a past life, there was a demon involved. We can go back and release them from those timelines, and it actually softens how they're reacting and feeling now, because those memories are within the subconscious. And your inner child connected to the subconscious is now remembering those horrible experiences, and then creates a block from somebody moving forward with ease. We release what was the causal level of situations, which often has darkness attached to it, and then you can change the timeline and the experience going forward.
Yeah, that's true. And you have the power to do that. You don't have to stay stuck in it. And people can be stuck in that, out of fear, and they can't move forward because of it. But it's good to know that you can empower yourself. And even if you need help is there. There's a lot of people like yourself and many of us who do this that can help. And you have some amazing stories you can share, kind of like giving them a perspective of there's a variety of different things, not just one thing, that this appears.
Yeah, because what we were doing often through individuals and different storylines, as we were approaching a storyline or a history of something, we would see the stuck energies. We could see the darkness behind it. We would have story after story, really, where we would see how the darkness was implanted and wreaked havoc on situations. But what was interesting to me, I remember a story when I was literally taken to a timeline where we were dealing with the Prince of Darkness, and the different dark characters show up differently in different timelines, realities, etc. And in this case, it was really clear that there was an argument between what was better, the all or the nothing that created it. And it was like this debate. And what I realized from clearing that story was it was arrogance at the basis. And I've cleared over and over again when I get to the causal level of a storyline, arrogance. If people understand that if they return to the highest light of themselves, sources within all, and they understand and accept that God knows better than any of us, and we engage source before we make decisions, that we will prevent karma, we will circumvent all sorts of anxiety that and loss and whatever that we would experience otherwise when we think we can do it better ourselves. And even when we go and clean up the stories, we often find that individuals wanting to clean up the story themselves because they know they made a mess, if they don't engage God and what's the best tactic to clean up the story, they still might be getting diminished results. The other thing is, I want to make a note of a couple of things so people understand the broader picture of darkness. When we've cleaned darkness, we've also cleaned it from the realm of extraterrestrials. So they don't have to fear the aliens anymore either, you know, and they're trying to come in and help us move things along and up level our technology and the ability to heal and things like that in the physical. But we're blocking it because of our own fear. Our fear's in the way, greed is in the way, people hanging on to the past is in the way. All of that is blocking what we can do now and have source be able to supply our highest and best good for all. So we're in the way, we're blocking it. And we can't blame the other guy. We have to take the responsibility for ourselves. And what is it within me that's blocking the world from moving forward? Where am I in greed? Where am I in limiting beliefs? Where am I in fear? Where am I holding back the all because I'm pointing my finger and blame, or I'm unwilling to just let go and return to love?
Exactly. This is really good topic. This is a needed topic. It's really needed right now. Really good clarity and information.
Thank you. I mean, that's what I'm here for, is to really help move people out of the dark and into the highest light. And part of the history in doing that is we have to clear a lot of the things that occurred in religion, even that blocked God. If they caused people to fear God, they have trouble connecting to God and also having their prayers answered because they're coming from fear and limiting beliefs that maybe well-meaning individuals shared through religious teachings. But what was behind those religious teachings originally? Where was the darkness influencing how God was perceived or how man was controlled at the time? When we lift all of that, we recognize that we're in God's care now. Every one of us are in God's care now, and that the world is in God's care now. We just have to let go of the old storylines, including a lot of the prophecy. I had a visitation from Lord Armageddon the other day, who I didn't even know existed. And I'll be coming out with a new report from him. But one of the points he was making was the prophecy about the Armageddon alone and the attachments to these old storylines are what's holding people back.
Yeah.
And until people are ready to let go of prophecy, live in the moment, and accept the source within is lighting them up in their path forward, they're going to be remaining in the past, perpetuating painful outcomes, if only for themselves.
Yeah. Wow. That's Beth had wrote, that makes much sense. Thank you. Thank you, Beth, for watching us and all the wonderful people who chat too. This is amazing. We'd love to hear more because this is so important right now. It really is. Your work is really good.
Thank you. The other thing I'll add into is the idea that people are afraid of death, purgatory, and hell,
Okay. Yeah.
which everyone dies to a degree, but life is eternal. But the fear of death, the fear of going to hell or purgatory, that it doesn't even need to exist any longer because they've been cleaned up.
Yeah.
And it's all a state of consciousness. So again, anybody wanting a better life, all they need to do is work on their own consciousness.
That is so true. It's where are you? Where are you on your own levels? Where are you releasing? It is important to focus on your own path. I think this isn't where you are, and help others along the way. But you gotta do your own inner work. You got to do your own inner work. It's a good message.
And
You're
forgiveness is probably the biggest
Yes,
opportunity that anybody can. I mean, it's a great tool when you can come from your heart and forgive anyone and all, including yourself,
yeah.
for any discretion, any error, any misinterpretation, and return to love. That will shift the world faster than anything.
Absolutely. It really will. Absolutely. It really does. Absolutely. You feel freer, you feel released, you feel at
Mhm.
peace. Everything surrounds you with that divine love when you do that. Absolutely. But a lot of people have a hard time forgiving, maybe because they don't know how. I mean, some people just say it. Doesn't mean they forgave.
Right.
Can you explain that to our audience? Because there's a difference in just saying it, but you still hold it. It's really
Well, it can be
surrendering.
in degrees. I think
Yes.
sometimes it's like the more you let go, the more you let go, the more you let go, it a little bit a deeper level comes off. But if you can go really in your heart and understand that we've all made errors
Yes.
and we don't understand the full picture and why things occurred, because sometimes the people that are the perpetrators in our lives were there to
Mm,
teach us a lesson because it was our own karma. But we sit and blame of the other individual instead of owning that part of it. When
yeah.
people can own the fact that they have created their own karma, and the challenge is with karma, this lifetime you're ignorant usually to what you did in the past in other timelines. So you sit and wonder, why am I doing everything the way it's supposedly is the highest and the best tactic, and I'm not getting the proper results, the equivalent of what you think those actions should garner. And often it's because of the karma and the mistakes we've made in the past. And then we sit and we're in the mud and then we're blaming this, we're blaming that, we're feeling sorry for ourselves, we're wondering what happened. And it's really just cleaning up from the past. And if we can own that we made a mistake somewhere and forgive ourselves and whoever was involved in that incident, even if we're not 100% clear on what that was, because when
Yeah.
I do past life work, I
Yes.
can see those issues, but not everybody will be able to see them for themselves. But just own the fact that I'm in this muddle because of something I probably did somewhere else, some other timeline. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and just be in the heart and saying, I want to repent for all those errors.
Yeah. It's being sincere with it. I think,
Yes.
you're really wanting to do this. Absolutely. And it's such a freedom when you do that. And we have a Rhonda Cash joining us. She says, good advice. And thank you for joining us. And yeah, no, this is really good information. This is really deep. And this is right to the core. This is really what you need to do. This is what this is about. And the understanding is so much needed. It really, really is. And we're hoping that this gets blasted throughout the world and really brings light to a lot of people what your message is.
Thank you. The future is a lot brighter than people are sometimes aligning with, because they're looking at the evidence. I often use the example, we've cleaned out the closets, now everything's in the middle of the floor and you have to sort through it, just like if you're moving. So we're moving into a new world and reality of peace, joy, and abundance. But in the meantime, you see the old stuff that you've collected, accumulated. You should have gotten rid of it a long time ago, but now you have to sort through it and then say, okay, I'm done, and move on. And the sooner somebody can do that, the whole world will shift.
Exactly. It does affect many millions of people in consciousness when you shift. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think when we do it, it helps it be easier for others as well, So I think this is huge. I mean, they still got to do their work, but I think it benefits. Like you said, it shifts. And I think this is huge.
Well, the higher you vibrate by letting go of what no longer serves you, whether it's emotions, thoughts, or physical things, then you ascend, your light raises, and that lifts up everyone around you. And that helps loosen up their blocks and barriers, because there's some stuck energies that just your light alone can help lift.
Exactly. Very good information. Do you have any stories to share with us that you have?
Well, I think the one I was just sharing, a little while ago, was when I was in New York not too long ago. I went to the theater, and the show was pretty dark.
Yeah.
And I said, like, darkness will attract darkness. So it's like, if you watch a ghost movie, you can have a room full of ghosts watching the movie with you. If you're watching a horror movie, you generate that kind of information and those types of entities around you. So I'm like, if people are interested in a show about darkness and demons, who do you think the audience is going to have in there? So I opened a portal, and we released 9,500 demons from the theater.
Wow.
Which I thought was extraordinary. You can, I'm guided to sometimes go to different places, because I can lift up the vibration of the area that I'm in by hundreds of miles. So it's when you vibrate really high, you can lift up areas, you can lift up people, and you can shift outcomes. But I'll tell you one story. This was a fun story. So to give you a little background, January 8th, 2020, I was made world mother. And then 2 weeks later, a gentleman, a colleague of mine, was made world son. And then we worked 3 to 8 hours a day consistently on world issues.
Awesome.
And so I'm explaining the context, because we would literally hold court, and they would bring in dark figures into like the court environment. And at that time, we were really kind of sitting in an evaluation, but mostly forgiving the dark characters so they could go to source, because ultimately you want everything to be returned to source. But there was a demon that came in who was really nasty and taunted me and said, I'm more powerful than God. And I'm going, no, you aren't. And he says, you are even more powerful than God. And I'm going, no, I'm not. And all I kept saying to the guy was, I have no power, it's all source. I have no power, it's all source. I kept repeating that. And then it was watching this like big hairy monster melt like the Wicked Witch of the East. And he just disappeared. And the look on his face was funny as all get out, because 1 minute he's taunting me, and he's like this big evil character, and now he's like turns into mush. And that is the power of surrendering to source and allowing source to work through you. You can do anything. Because I literally, all I did was kept turning it all over to source. I'm like, what
Exactly.
am I going to do to how to battle this character? I can't do that.
Very good. That was good. That was really, really good. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we do the giveaway? She's doing a group healing giveaway, which will be fun for someone who will be getting this today. All our chat people and whoever is going to be in the drawing. So we'll do a drawing before the end of the show.
All I will say is that everyone has more power than they're recognizing and acknowledging. If they understood that source was the highest aspect of them, aligned with that highest aspect of them, they could move mountains.
Exactly. That was such a good note to close on and a good advice for everyone to remember. Everything is within you. It's not outside of you. It's everywhere, actually, but it's within you. Source everything. I needed to hear this message today from Beth. That was nice. And Rhonda put, it's all energy. We really appreciate everybody chatting. And we know a lot of people watch us. So we're really happy when people can chat with us. We love to interact with you as well. And how can people get a hold of you? I mean, do you have like a website on your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? How can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to my name, Dr. Joy Peterson, on Facebook, and Dr. Joy Peterson at Facebook and Instagram, Joy Peterson at Twitter and YouTube, and joypeterson.com for my website, or angelenlightenment.com sends them right to my blog. And then I do this monthly group healing call where I've got a message from source, a training. We do special topics of clearing and education once a month. And that's what I'm giving them the giveaway for, is 1 month of that group healing, on which is a Zoom on the first Saturday of the month, and everybody gets a replay. But that's a group to help people awaken and ascend and clean up their past and get new gifts and things like that as a group.
Oh, that's wonderful. But we want to remind everybody, she is an author, and we want to bring your book up. So I have your book here. I'm going to bring it up so everybody can see us. Wisdom of the Guardian. How can people get a hold of your book, and a little bit about your book?
So this is Michael, Archangel Michael asked me to do this book. So it's his words. I just wrote it down and published it. And that's available in any bookstore, really. Amazon, it's probably the most accessible, but you can find more information about that one. And also this one is another, I don't know if you can see this one.
I'm going to bring that one right up. I was just going to bring her up in a minute. We'll bring that one up. Yeah. Clear your past and change your future. Is this the newer one, or?
Well, it's a newer one. I'm actually I'm going to republish it. Okay. But it's still available in Kindle. And it was really about the body of work that Michael and I did in opening up, clearing the darkness and opening up heaven on earth, which we opened up March 30th in 2013. People just didn't understand that it's here, it's available, and what that would provide for them. So it kind of explains some of the history of clearing the darkness. There's a lot more that we did after, which encompassed a bigger cleanup job. Mostly, this was more of the causal level of darkness and dealing with a lot of the fallen angels and things like that. But since then, we've cleaned up a lot more. So I'll be writing more books on those subjects as well.
How can they get a hold of your book? Is there like on Amazon or on your website?
Yeah, Amazon. You can get both of them on Amazon.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. And your website again?
joypeterson.com.
Yeah, make sure you go there and check her out. She's amazing. You're going to love her. And she's definitely a leader in this world and what she came in to do. And she has a lot of knowledge and a lot of experiences. And what we're going to do is I'm going to see there's another message. Mary, Thank you. Wonderful reminder. So what I'm going to do is I have to pop out to go do the drawing. And then I'll pop back in. And Joy, if you want to continue sharing something with everyone, you can. It'll only be a second. You can hear my voice.
Okay.
I'm out. So I'll be right back.
I think the only thing I want to add really is that there's so many of you out there that are here for a higher purpose and are here to serve. And so many of us have been frightened because of past lives of persecution, and we don't have to sit in that energy any longer. And we can, if everybody rolls up their sleeves and does the role that they're here to do, we can shift the world even faster. And if anybody needs help with that, or letting go of some of those past lives with persecution, I'm certainly available to help also.
Wow, we have a winner, and I'm coming back. I'm coming back to join you guys. It's Rhonda Cash. Rhonda Cash, you have won this beautiful group healing with joy. You definitely are going to love it. It's wonderful. And Rhonda, send me your email and a phone number just in case we type something's not right, and I will forward it to Dr. Joy Pedersen, and then she will connect with you with a link, whatever you need to join her group healing. Thank you so much for this beautiful messages and all the information, all the work you're doing, Joy. We really love having you on our show, and we will have you back. We just want to say thank you to everyone, and we'll see you next week. Have a blessed, prosperous life.